Hi everybody. Today we're going to talk about secondary dominants. So secondary dominants are a type of chord that's found, basically it's whenever you see an accidental that doesn't belong in the key signature or the diatonic scale, right? So diatonic means, and you probably have run across this a lot, and you may not have made the connection to what diatonic actually means. Diatonic is basically means that it's within the key, right? So if you're in the key of C major, all of your chords, if they're in the diatonic scale, if they're diatonic chords, it means that none of them will have accidentals, right? Or an A minor. If you're in the key of, say, G major, then the diatonic scale includes F sharp. If you see F natural, it's outside of the diatonic scale or outside of a diatonic chord. So yeah, it just means within the key. So when we see secondary dominants, this is a sign that there's something outside of the diatonic scale, but we are analyzing it in a way that makes it make sense. So it's one of these weird things where composers are able to break the rules, and then there's, sort of some sideways logic that makes it work. So this is what you're going to learn how to do. So basically, if you look at figure 14.1 in your book, right there, right, you're going to see how some of these diatonic secondary dominants and leading tone chords work. So in 14.1, we have A. So we're in the key of C major, and it's just showing one of these random chords. Let's see. So we've got E, B. This is the 3 chord to a 6 in the key of C. So now within our key of C, right, if we snowman our chord, we've got an E, G, E, B. So it's an E, G, B chord, which in key of C is a 3, so that's all correct. And then our next chord is, let's see, we've got E, A, C, A, C. So we've got A, C, E, right? If we snowman that, this is a 6 chord. And if I play it on the piano for you, it's going to sound like this. This is sound 3 to 6. And I've got to, let's see, bump up the octaves. So we've got, oops, G, right? So E, G, E, B. All right, so that's our 3 chord. All spread out. And so we've got 3 to 6. All right? So these two are both going up to A. And then we stick with E. And we come down to, we go up to C. All right? So that's the 6th chord. Now, if you're in the middle of analyzing and this shows up, all of a sudden, this is no longer a minor 3 chord, right? Suddenly, it becomes major. Right? As opposed to, now we've got crazy. So before we had now we have major. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Okay, still back to the 6. But what we're going to do is call it, so it's exactly the same, but we have to reanalyze it now in a new context. All right, so the book calls this 5 of 6. All right, and the way we figured this out is E is the 5 of something, right? So it's got to be, so what is E the 5th of, right? So let's figure this out. In C major, we have C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. All right, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oops, it's a 6. And then 1. All right? So now we've got to figure out which key in here, if we find the 5th of one of these, right? It's going to be the 5 of something. In this case, we know it's going to be the 5 of 6. But we've got to figure out what key, first of all, is going to contain a G sharp. And what is this E, G sharp, B, the 5 of, when placed in context to C major, all right? So, if we're looking for E, you can notice our E is up here, and we've got to make a snowman. This is the top, and this is the bottom, right? So anywhere along here, which is the root of our chord, the E chord, it's got to fit into one of these, all right? So this E chord has to be the 5th of one of these notes, all right? So here, way too wide, would be the 3rd of a C major chord, right? It's a 3 chord, how we originally analyzed it. It could be, this makes a 7th, right? F to E. Here we've got a 6th, so it's not 5 of 5. It's not the 5th, the dominant of the 5 chord, right? Because that would be a D, not an E. But lo and behold, check this out. It does make the 5th note of a 6 chord. Ding, ding, ding. All right? So if we go to the key of A major, right? So the A is the 6th of C, right? So then we briefly jump into A major, all right, with this 6. And then the 5th of this chord, right? So we take this guy, make a new scale starting on A major. So A major is 3 sharps, F sharp, C sharp, G sharp, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G sharp, A. Sorry, it's going to get a little messy, all right? And then we go down here, add this in, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 1. All right, and guess what? This E is the 5th of the 6th note in C major. And that's how we end up with something called 5 of 6. I hope that this is not too mind-blowingly difficult. If you don't totally get it, I mean, I'm happy to go through things and help with you. Mainly, when you're looking for these, is when you are suddenly finding an accidental in a chord that shouldn't be there. So basically, the idea is secondary dominants, when they're used in a normal diatonic scale, they have this magical ability to turn minor chords major and major chords minor, right? So that's basically the idea. Or actually, no, they're always going to be major chords. So we'll always turn a chord major, a minor chord into a major chord, not the reverse. Let's see. So if we go through here, to be a secondary dominant, a chord must either be a major triad or a major minor seventh chord. So like a dominant seventh, what we call a dominant seventh. When you see the slash, read it as the word of. The symbol 5/6 means 5 of 6. So we write it out like this. 5 with a slash and then like a 6. Okay? Or a 4 in this case. Apparently I'm dyslexic tonight. Okay. Secondary dominants are called altered chords because they contain non-diatonic tones, like we just saw, the G sharp, that are not found in the prevailing key. Secondary dominants are created out of diatonic chords that have been changed to make them major and major minor, or, the dominant seventh. So let's see. So a normal diatonic chord